Good afternoon. I'm here at the Label Expo India in Greater Noida with Grant Blewett, who is the worldwide sales director and vice president of Miraclon, a company that some of our readers will know well for their activity and active promotion of the Kodak Flexcell Nexcell plates. And I am taking this opportunity to speak with Grant about some of the interesting developments of the Miraclon Flexcell NX plates. And first of all, I believe it will be interesting, Grant, if you explain to our readers and listeners a little bit about Pure Flexo.
Sure.
And Flexo Central. I mean, this is a company that seems to keep innovating and improving flexography. And I think Grant is a good person to explain what Pure Flexo does and also what Flexo Central does.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much for the question. So I think really, in order to understand what Pure Flexo does for our customers, it's really important to understand the origins of Flexcell NX. And we need to go back a little bit in history and say Flexcell NX was based on a very deep and fundamental understanding of the flexo process, but most importantly around the limitations, the fundamental inherent limitations of flexography. When we did this, the reality was we landed up with a very significant boost in quality. And for many years, our customers and ourselves were very distracted by this extreme boost in quality. And many people have lost perspective of what really NX was about at its incept, and that was to deliver absolute control, predictability, process control in the press room. Right? That's what it was designed to, and that's what it set out to do. And we've achieved that, and so many of our customers will testify to that. When we got to that level of consistency and production efficiency in the press room, we quickly realized, or we witnessed that the next thing we had to control was the behavior of the ink while under impression between the plate and the analogs and the analogs and the substrate. We had to control that ink because there was a little bit of variance that was caused by the behavior of that fluid ink under impression. What we've done now is we've created a suite of tools that allows customers very easily to actually control this ink while it's mechanically interacting on the press. So we can allow this ink to flow freely under impression, which allows us to have good opacity, really good solid ink densities. But then at the moment at which we want that ink to stop flowing, in other words, at the edge of a dot or the edge of a structure or fine text, we can then create a barrier that actually, in a sense, stops the ink flowing any further. And that's absolutely unique, and it's enabled by the fundamental differences of Flexcell NX, which are born on very high quality imaging technology and a recording medium that is able to fully exploit that very high precise imaging technology. And those things two together have allowed us to bring PrintSuite to marketplace, which really brings us absolute control of ink while under various printing conditions.
So I think, Grant, if I'm correct in my understanding, essentially Pure Flexo can be implemented by Flexcell NX users simply with a software upgrade.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
Why?
Well, because again, the base platform that we speak of, when we originally introduced the platform back in 2008, the base platform is so robust, and we've got access to this very, very precise, very fine imaging technology and the recording medium that allows us to do it. And all that we're doing with PrintSuite is we are further exploiting those two qualities, which are inherent in every product. It's inherent from the very first product we brought to market in 2008. So therefore, to answer your question, a customer who purchased a machine from us in 2008 can have today, all these years later, in 2022, they can actually have the latest developments from Miraclon without any further capital investments.
Grant, since this is a label show, I think we should address some of the label printers who are wanting to grow and expand. And they are thinking of flexible packaging, they're thinking of sleeve packaging. How do you see the role of Flexcell NX and Flexo in general in helping them move on to wider presses?
Yeah. So I think with the advent of these very, very high quality focused, let's use the word mid-web machines, that allows perhaps a label printer who today is focused only on that very narrow web label space to branch out into another aspect, a very exciting part of that is our wider web food packaging. And these mid-web machines allow that.
This is an example of that.
Absolutely.
This is done on a mid-web.
Absolutely. It was just a few years ago you would never have thought something like that was possible. But today done on a mid-web machine. So really it doesn't matter what your format of print is, whether it be a narrow web, whether it be a mid-web, or whether you're going to go to the full web width of a CI press, it really doesn't matter. FlexLNX at its core technology is delivering production consistency into your environment, whether it be narrow web, mid-web or wide web. And it doesn't matter where you are within the space, if you're going to a flexographic output, going to a flexographic plate, who's going then ultimately to application, FlexLNX brings you that consistency, robustness and predictability, which is really the number one quest that a customer has today. It's all very well moving to a mid-web, but how do you move into a mid-web environment in a highly optimized, highly efficient environment? And that's what FlexLNX enables you to do.
I think what you just said touches on my next question, which is money, profitability. How do you maintain profitability? This is the issue which many, not only label converters are facing, but even flexible packaging companies. And I'd like you to speak again. Frankly, Grant is a very interesting person to interview. Okay? And I think one of the most interesting things he has to talk about is money, protecting profitability. Would you like to just...
Absolutely. So I think the profitability of our customers is absolutely at the heart of what FlexLNX sets out to do. And if you doubt that, or you don't understand that statement, because it's very difficult to explain in a few short minutes, but essentially come and speak to us, because really the very architecture of FlexLNX is designed to help optimize the press room. Now, here's the irony. The plate itself, depending on the print process and the run lengths, the plate itself constitutes between 4 and 6% of the cost of a production job. So it's a very small input cost, but it's actually, ironically, one of the biggest influences on the production efficiency of that press. So if your 6% of your costs can significantly alter the production efficiency of a very big production run, you can imagine what this means. And all over the world, people are migrating to Miraclon and FlexLNX purely for that simple fact. Yes, the consumable itself is absolutely more expensive than what you'd buy a standard plate for. But if you consider the end use, the print application, it's only constitutes between 4 and 6%. And if we can, with that 4 to 6% input, we can actually change the fundamentals of where your real costs are. That's what excites our customers all over the world.
Thank you. I think what Grant has said is something that some of us old-timers have believed for a long time, which is pre-press is the key.
Absolutely.
Pre-press is the way to make a difference.
And ironically, very many people will spend a huge amount of time investing in presses, investigating presses, speaking to press suppliers, spending a huge amount of money on a press, and not taking into cognizance that we have to support this press with robust pre-press. And only then, with those two to put together, do you fully optimize the solution.
Great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.